I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to own your desires and awaken in the process. Okay, because this is very important. What most people do in society, unfortunately, as humans, we've forgotten how to trust our emotional guidance system, and we forgot how to trust that we have desires and that these desires are important to trust in, otherwise the energy gets stuck. And in this video, I'm going to share with you how to unstuck the energy, get back to your true desires and owning those desires, so that then your reality can start to move forward and you can start to manifest your reality and become a divine creator once again. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. So this is going to be how to own your desires and awaken in the process. The first thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to do this is something to understand, which is number one, repressed desires block energy flow. That's what happens. When you repress your desires, what you've done is you've stagnated your energy, you've contracted your energy, you've pushed away your true desire. You've called it bad, not that this is you in particular, but it could be you, but for the purposes of speaking, this could be you. You called it bad, you pushed it away, and you said to yourself, you know what? Desire is something that I shouldn't want because of this reason, because of that reason, or whatever that the mind comes up with. The ego will come up with all sorts of reasons in terms of why it can't want what it wants, why life can't work through you to want what you want. Because the truth is that your DNA has been encoded with a desire at birth. You were literally born in this reality with a desire. In fact, even to be a human is a desire. To be on this planet is a desire. You desired to be here at this moment, at this time, in this moment right here, right now, which is of course the only moment that exists. Now, if you have a desire to go do something, you have to understand that there is no such thing as a bad desire, because desire runs this reality. And when people push away their desires because of whatever reason, whether spiritual ideas in the mind or just whatever kind of ideas, it doesn't matter what kind of ideas we're talking about, when we get stuck in our mind and our analytical, egotistical, not that it's bad, but we get stuck in our mind, we repress what the heart really wants. We repress our true heart's desires. Now what this does, once again, is this blocks the energy flow. This is what makes it so that people experience the same thing again and again and again, and they don't start to see things changing in their reality in the way that their heart and soul truly wants, because they've blocked themselves. And they chose to block themselves, of course, unconsciously. But you can start to become more conscious of this process and start to realize that you can choose to own your desires. So the second thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to own your desires and awaken in the process is number two, understand that desire runs this reality. This is what reality is based on, desire. So when some people start having teachings like desire is the root of all suffering or desire is bad, I'm going to be honest with you, I completely disagree, because I've seen it to be the case that the truth of reality is that we have desires, and to push away those desires is to push away life itself. When you stop yearning for something or going after something, what you're doing is you're actually pushing away life. Life is desire. If you want to get closer to your death, this might sound like a controversial topic, what you want to do is stop desiring, push away your desires. You'll quite literally notice that people that push away their desires, you can see that they almost have given up on life. It seems like they are not even here. They're here, but are they really here? In a way, they're not, because they've pushed away their true desires. It's almost like there's a deadness in their system, because there's no life force, there's no aliveness, right? Aliveness comes from following that breadcrumb trail of your higher self and trusting that you have desires and you came here to own those desires fully. And that is okay. That is not only okay, it's exactly what you're meant to do. So I encourage you to start to drop this idea, if you have this idea, that desire is wrong or desire is bad. And I also encourage you to start to notice the negative consequences that you experience in your life by pushing away your desires. I encourage you to start to notice the negative consequences of this, to start to notice how when you push away your desires, how you're usually afraid to step into something that's going to make you unsafe. But in fact, the safest thing you can do is to go after your desires. When you push away your desires and you stay in your comfort zone and you stay in the same ego patterns that are familiar to you, you'll find that reality gets uncomfortable and you actually have a higher probability, in my personal experience at least, to have negative circumstances happen in the way that you don't want. Which leads me to the third and final point in this video in terms of how to own your desires and awaken in the process is number 3, if you resist what you want, you get more of what you don't want. Okay, I'm gonna say that one more time just so that this really hits home. If you resist what you want, you will get more of what you do not want. Why is this the case? Because what you resist persists. Now, to push away what you want is a form of resisting where you are. Paradoxically, it's like, Francis, well, how am I resisting where I'm at? I'm trying to stay where I'm at, or maybe not manifest something bad. But you see, what happens is that when you push away your desires, automatically you are in resistance to what you're experiencing now, and you're in resistance to the desire. You're in resistance to pretty much both of where you want to go and where you are, both at the same time. So you keep amplifying more and more and more of that familiar reality. And maybe you convince yourself, or maybe not you, but some person, this is how most people in society work, unfortunately. Hopefully it's not going to be like this forever. I know it's not going to be forever, but hopefully we start to see this happening at a faster rate, and it will happen at a faster rate, but we'll save that for another video in terms of how fast this energy is going to start to come in on the planet. But anyways, when you are resisting what you want and resisting where you are, what you're doing is you're amplifying more and more and more and more of what you do not prefer to be experiencing now at this time. That's exactly what you're doing, is you're amplifying more of what you don't want. You're creating more of what you don't want. So actually what you want to do is start to stop resisting that energy coming in. It's like, yes, I want this thing. When you start to go after what you want without inner resistance, and you allow yourself to feel the emotion, the energy in motion, the flow of I want something, what starts to happen is that it's like almost like an energetic release. It's almost like you start to breathe a little bit more energetically. And in my experience, this definitely affects the physical body as well, because the energy body and the emotional body and the physical body are actually one and are interconnected. Sometimes the physical body can catch up a little bit later in terms of how the energy body feels and how connected you are. But if you start to own your desires, you'll feel that release. You'll feel like you're letting go. You'll feel the most in control that you've ever felt in your life. You'll feel like you're choosing, not like the circumstances necessarily, or controlling people, or controlling things, or controlling anything outside of you, but you'll have control vibrationally. You'll have control in terms of unconditionally accepting this moment as it is, which then leads you to what your heart truly wants, paradoxically, and that's that choice that you have to do that. You have that choice at all times to step into that. And so I encourage you to stop resisting what you want. What does your heart really want? What do you really want? What do you actually want? And how would your experience change if you started to own that more? If you started to allow yourself to want what it is that you want and let yourself have that desire and not call it bad. See, most people call their desires bad. They say, I shouldn't be wanting this, or this is something that's wrong, or better yet, if you're spiritual, and I say spiritual in this way because everything is spiritual. Some people say, oh, this is spiritual, that's not spiritual. Yeah, that's a made up ego concept. That's a man-made concept. There's no such thing as spiritual or not spiritual. Everything is spiritual. I'm gonna say that one more time. Everything is spiritual. And there's no such thing as good or bad. There's just is. And so what do you want? What do you want more of? What does your heart want? And if you were to own that, how much better would you feel? And here's another question. What are the consequences? Because there's consequences to either choice that you make, whether good or bad, relatively speaking, of course, because absolutely there is no good or bad. Good or bad, relatively speaking, there are consequences. And so when I ask you this question, I want to ask you, what are the consequences of not going after what you want? What does that mean for your life? How are you going to feel? What circumstances is that going to lead you into if you keep resisting what your heart really wants? How is that going to affect your life? You want to start asking yourself these questions to break out of the loop that you're in. Because that's how most people are living, is they're stuck in a loop. They're repeating the same experiences again and again and again and again. The same experience again and again and again. How much longer are you going to experience the same thing again and again and again until you finally realize that you're done with that and you make a choice to face your fear and step into what your heart actually wants? And with that, I conclude this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. Also, please hit that like button for me so that more people can get access to this content, because I do believe that every single person on this planet does deserve to know that they are the creators, divine creators of their reality, and that they can manifest their reality and do so in the most effortless and easeful way possible. Hitting that like button does help the YouTube algorithm push the videos out to more people, and that would be greatly appreciated. And of course, as always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next